Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. This week's video is a beginner's guide to manga. I thought this would be a fun video to do in case I had any new collectors watching. Also for those of you who know anybody that is just getting into manga, or you kind of want to get them into manga, just share this video with them. It might be helpful. So yeah, in this video I'm just going to give a few pieces of advice, and then I'll also be showing you a few series that I would recommend that you start with as a first series. So I've got a good little mix of action and then some more like fantasy and romance, so yeah, stay tuned for that. So today I have a nice coffee with me. I feel like it's been a while since I've had a coffee. So yeah, it's definitely a treat. So let's go ahead and get into my few pieces of advice. My first piece of advice would be to understand that it's a very space-consuming hobby. So just be aware of the space that you have to work with. It is definitely helpful if you already have a bookshelf on hand, but if you don't, I would recommend you look at Target. They have very cost-effective shelving systems. I feel like even just one of the smaller ones will help you a lot, because if you want to delay putting off any sort of big bookshelves, and I would just recommend starting with something small, because you want to see if you're really going to get into this, right? So yeah, just something small, cheap will help you out a lot, and just kind of give you a feel for what you want your shelves to look like. Do you want wood, white, or black, as far as the aesthetics? And then also the kind of shelves. There's a whole bunch of different kinds. I have this tiered system here, which I don't love, so eventually these are going to be switched out, but yeah, just kind of experiment with that. And yeah, space wise, just kind of prepare a spot where you're going to dedicate to books. That did not come out right. Hello, let's get my words together here. Yeah, just make sure you have a spot to put them, because as you collect series, they're going to fill up a shelf very quickly or take over your desk very quickly if you're just gonna stack them on your desk. So yeah, I just had this one bookshelf, and then I very quickly had to expand to two because I went a little bit crazy with collecting, and so I needed the extra shelf space. So yeah, just be aware of the space that you have to work with, and just kind of mentally make plans for how you're going to expand your shelf space, where you have room for another bookshelf or storage of some sort. So just, yeah, be aware of that. Yeah, that's the first tip. My second piece of advice would be to just be aware that you have a lot of different resources and platforms to shop from. You have in-person shopping, of course, but living in 2023, we have a lot of online retail options as well. So definitely take a look, because you can find a lot of deals. Collecting manga can get a little bit expensive, just as prices have gone up on books as well, and you're collecting series that tend to have between 14 to 30 volumes, so yeah, it's going to be a bit of an investment. So just kind of make sure you're looking around to not pay the cover price as often as you can. Any little bit helps. It's $1 here, $1 there, but that's gonna help you just put another $1 towards that next volume that you need. So yeah, of course, you have a great one to kind of check out is Target. They have a lot of the more popular titles. They're not going to have a huge selection, but like I said, the big, really popular manga series, they tend to have marked down for 20% off. So that's a really great place to look when you're starting out. But as far as online, you have places like World of Books, Books a Million. Right Stuff Anime is amazing. They are always having a sale or markdown of some sort, and that can also be a problem when you have a shopping problem. So yeah, just kind of browse around on those websites because they have sales running. Right Stuff in particular, they're really good. I feel like a lot of their stuff is typically marked down anyways, so that's a great place to look. And don't be afraid to shop secondhand as well. I'm a big, like, I love thrifting and just going to like all the antique shops, so I'm a big like secondhand shopper. So yeah, just check your like local used bookstores. They might have some manga selection. It just kind of depends on where you're at and like if that general like population will read manga. And then also check out Mercari and Pango Books. Those are both online secondhand shopping platforms, and you can also sell on there. So Mercari has like everything, like clothes and books and stuff, but Pango Books is just dedicated to books. So yeah, those are a couple to check out. You can find some really good deals on there. You just kind of have to scour a little bit, but yeah, don't be afraid to shop secondhand. You can find stuff in really good condition, or if you don't really mind, like a little bit of wear. So yeah, those are the few things that I wanted to point out. So on to my last point that I wanted to point out. The last thing would be to do a little bit of research before you get your first series. Like talk with your friends if you have any friends that also read manga, like kind of get their input, just because they might know what you like as far as genre wise. Like if you have like any favorite movies or TV shows or books, if you read like regular books like novels, just kind of take your taste from that and apply it to manga as well. There is an entire world of manga. Like there are so many different types of stories that manga has to offer. It's kind of crazy. So I guess to add on to that, I wouldn't run around too aimlessly and just like pick up like random series here and there. I personally, if I were starting completely over today, I would just focus on getting one series and completing it. And that's what I actually started out with. Naruto is my first series, and I just collected this one until I completely finished collecting it. So all 72 volumes. Yeah, I just focused on this one series before I like got into anything else. So I would recommend you do that as well, just because stories can start to run together. Unless you like didn't like what you picked up, just stick with one story. I would also recommend that you start out with a series that is completed, because that will make it easier for you to just either get it in a box set, because that's another tip, is to, if there is a box set available, I would go for that, because although it's a bigger upfront investment, in the long run it's going to be cheaper. So yeah, but yeah, just start out with one series. That's my kind of take on that, and preferably have it be a completed series. So yeah, that is all that I wanted to mention. So now I think I'll go ahead and get into the series that I would recommend that you start out with. Okay, first one I will mention, I'm kind of going to split this up. This first half is going to be for those of you who are more interested into the more action series, like shonen. I'm gonna do another video on explaining the different manga genres. So yeah, these first few are gonna be more action-packed. Yeah, just fun series to read. So the first one is Demon Slayer. This one is pretty popular, so I feel like maybe you might have heard about this already. But this one is about this guy, Tanjiro. He is a coal miner of some sort, right? Hold on, let me see. He sells charcoal. And one day he comes back and his entire family is killed by a demon, except for his sister here, Nezuko, but she is turned into a demon herself. So it's kind of this story of him trying to find some sort of way to turn her back into a human while kind of avenging his family by becoming a part of the Demon Slayer Corps. So there's a lot of different like arcs of him and a few other characters going on these missions to take down the demons, to ultimately take down the ultimate demon. So it's a very, very action-packed series. It's a great one, awesome characters, cool character designs too. So this one pretty popular because the anime is also amazing. The animation on that is just like top tier. But yeah, that's the first one. Second one, I'm a hypocrite here because I said start out with a series that is completed, and here I am recommending series that are not completed. Anyway, next one, Chainsaw Man. This one is like one of my current favorites. I'm absolutely obsessed with the series. Why I decided to put this in here is because it's another fairly popular one, and it's completed-ish. Part 1 is out, and a box set of part 1, which is volumes 1 through 11, will be out soon. I'm not exactly sure when, but that's going to be available. So you can get these first 11 volumes and kind of experience the first part of the story that way. Part 2 is coming out, like I think volumes 12 and 13 are out, but I personally am gonna wait to get them in the box set, which will probably be a little bit, but patience is the key, my friends. Anyway, this one is about this guy here. His name is Denji, and actually you can just read the back if you want, but this one is kind of a similar thing where it's that kind of like moving up the ranks, coming of age action, getting stronger with your comrades type of series. Caveat to this one is that it's very gory. It's very like, I mean, the main guy, he turns into this chainsaw devil, so lots of blood. So if you can't handle that, maybe don't try this one out. But I thought I couldn't handle a lot of blood, but then I like started with this and I really enjoy it. Yeah, great series. I really recommend this one. Also an anime of that one. This next one is for those of you who like a little bit of a scare. So this one is rated mature, but it does say it is a mystery and horror. Again, if you want to read the back, but this one has some stunning art. These volumes are a little bit pricier just because they are a little bit thicker. So these are going to be $20 a piece. The other two that I was showing you, are $9.99. Those are just like the standard Viz Media volumes. So this is a completed series. It is a 6-volume series. Great, awesome one, especially with summer coming up. I feel like this will be such a fun one to read. in the summer. I have already read this and it's amazing. So yeah, definitely has the scare factor. So, and this one also another very gory one. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But this one does have a few colored pages in the beginning, so that's also what is marking up the price a little bit. But it's a great series. It has like a time loop element, which I really enjoyed. I think that's so cool. I'm not going to say too much on that one just because it is a mystery, so I feel like mysteries are the best to just go into knowing as little as possible, because yeah, you just want to find all that out for yourself. But now I'm going to recommend a couple of manhwa series, because that is another kind of avenue to go down with the whole like manga community. So I have a couple here that will also bridge me into the more like slice of life and like shoujo romance series. So let me grab these. Okay, so manhwa are Korean comics. So you have manga, that's Japanese comics, and then manhwa, that is Korean comics. And then there are also manhua, I'm not sure how you would pronounce that, but those are Chinese comics. So I personally don't have any of those, but I do have a couple of manhwa series to recommend to you. Another thing to note with manhwa is that it is typically done published in full color, so that is a fun thing about these. I feel like it gives a different reading experience. It kind of feels like this in-between world of reading and watching, like an anime. And I really enjoy it. It's a very immersive reading experience, so yeah, it's great. Also, manhwa is read from left to right, and manga is read from right to left, right? Yes. So this one, Solo Leveling, is kind of modeled after like an RPG game. There's a lot of like game elements in this one, and I think it's really cool. You have this guy here, the main character, Jinwoo Sung, and he is ranked the lowest ranked hunter. So basically there is this like organization of hunters that goes into these dungeons to take down these like monsters, to like keep public safety and everything. So he's the lowest ranked hunter, and so it's basically the story of him trying to level up, and he gets these really cool powers eventually, and it's just a really fun, if you like games, if you're into gaming, I think this would be a really fun one to start out with. So yeah, awesome series, great action in that one, and the art is stunning as well. Let me just show you a few pages in, ooh, okay. This one has a little bit of some scare factor, but not too bad. But here are a couple of the pages. Let me get past this part. But yeah, you can see like the action is there, it's there. So that's all that I have for those more like action fighting type series. Okay, so now I will go ahead and show you the few like more lighthearted series that I would recommend. So the next series I have to recommend is also a manhwa, other way. This is Why Raeliana Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion. This is a really cute one. I feel like if you are more into like the romance genre, this is a really cute one. This would also fall under the isekai genre, which is basically when a character wakes up in another world or if they wake up in another person's body. So in this case, we have this girl who is the main character, but she wakes up in Raeliana's body, and she is a character in this novel that she was reading. So she kind of has to go through and like live her life in the book. So she knows that Raeliana's fiance is trying to kill her. So in order to like keep her alive, she strikes up this deal with the Duke to like kind of show that they're dating and to kind of like dissolve her engagement, because he is in like a higher he's just like in a higher like position of power, I guess. So that's the only way she would be able to get out of her engagement. So it's just this kind of like fake dating simulation, and the banter is so cute in this one. Like you just see them, it kind of gives like enemies to lovers kind of vibes too, because they don't necessarily like each other. Like they both get on each other's last nerves, but they have to like put up this front that they, you know, are ready, like they're engaged and they're in love. So it's a really fun one, really cute. Yeah, again, full color, so amazing art, and really vibrant colors on this one. This one is, it only has 3 volumes out right now. It's probably going to be around like between 10 and 14 volumes, I think. That's typically how long these type of series are, so I don't see it going too much further than that. But getting back into manga here, this one is really cute. This one is Snow White with the red hair. This is more of your like fantasy type of series. You have this character here, Shiryuki. She is kind of well known and like sought after for her rare red hair. So like the main prince of the kingdom wants to take her as like one of his concubines, and she's like not up for that. She's like, no way. So she ends up escaping, and she kind of comes across this other prince from this like neighboring kingdom, and they kind of like become friends with a couple of like his like close guards, and it's just a really cute, like very whimsical, and yeah, it kind of is like imitating like a fairy tale, I feel like. So this one is a really cute one. She is like an herbalist, so you're like in gardens and like greenhouses, and the vibes are just immaculate with this one. So great series to start out with. I am not 100% sure if that one is completed, but it has a good amount out, and it might be, if it's not completed, it's probably coming to its conclusion soon. I will put a thing here when I confirm it. But yeah, last one I have to mention is Fruits Basket. This is a fairly popular one in the shoujo community. So this one is kind of a fantasy, because it involves the 12 zodiacs. So basically you have the Soma family, and they can each transform into their like respective zodiac animal if they are like hugged by the opposite gender. So it's very funny. This has a lot of comedy, and of course there's going to be romance. It is like a lot of the characters are like high school age, so it's kind of like a high school coming of age story as well. So great characters in this one. I think that's a thing for me, is that I am a very character driven reader. It's really hard for me to stick with a story if there aren't well written characters, and I feel like that's something that this series does really well. There are great characters in this one. So it can get a little bit like emotional and heavy at some points, so kind of keep that in mind. But overall, I think this is a great series to start out with, just because it's only a 12 volume series. I mean, they are omnibus editions, so again, they're going to be a little bit pricier, but I think the investment is definitely worth it into these. And if you can get your hands on the original volumes, this series originally came out like in the early 2000s, I think, so you might be able to find a deal on the original prints somewhere online secondhand. So I personally would just go with the collector's editions, but that's just me. I like to be extra with everything. But yeah, that's everything that I had to mention. So let me just kind of grab everything and then wrap up my thoughts here. Okay, so that was everything that I wanted to mention today. But yeah, just have fun with this. I mean, go into stores and flip through some volumes and just see what interests you. Reading is a very personal thing. Everybody has different tastes and like different storylines that they like, so you just have to find what piques your interest the most. And yeah, another thing that I just thought about, I would start out with a series that's not super long, just so that it's a little bit easier for you to stick to that one series without feeling like, I kind of want to start something new, like I do enjoy this, let me start something else. Just start something that's relatively short. Like don't go and pick up Naruto as your first series. It's 72 volumes, unless you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but my personal recommendation would be to start out with one series, keep it relatively short. So yeah, that is everything that I have today. If you are already a collector and have some other series that you would like to recommend to beginners, put those in the comments down below so that they can kind of take a read at those. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful at all, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys.